The bandwidth for this episode of Fat2FitHQ is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network, firearmsradio.tv.
Welcome to the video version of the Fat2FitHQ podcast, episode number 87. I'm in my car, and the reason I'm in my car is because I am a week late getting a podcast out, and I am sorry to everyone that's sending emails and messages. I'm doing the best I can. I am. After Paleo effects, after the holiday and hosting family, and I could give you excuses all day long, but the reality is, if I can get this intro recorded between when I get off work and when I have to pick my kids up from swim practice here in a second, then you get a podcast. So that's where we are. I recorded with Lisa Jarman the other day, the end, just kind of a wrap up, a reflections of our weekend at Paleo FX. I want to tell you to make your plans for next spring to meet us there. I'm probably going to say it a couple of times. I can't remember exactly what all we recorded, but it was a weekend of learning, so much learning. I was very impressed with the Paleo community because we're going to laugh about my boots. I showed up with all my Texas glitter and glam, not very ancestral at all. And let's face it, Firearms Radio Network doesn't exactly look at first as if it goes hand in hand with the paleo movement. But, you know, what I found was these folks are really seriously interested in just getting people healthier. Very open to speakers who weren't all about paleo, but were just trying to explain more knowledge about what food does so that you can try to get yourself to a healthier place. And of course, a lot of that real food, turning away from processed food and grains and sugars, well, that goes real well with a paleo lifestyle or a primal ancestral lifestyle. So we learned a lot. You're going to hear us gush a bunch about the famous people that we met, famous in our, podcasting, real food health movement world. And well, because we were taken aback by how friendly people were. People like Roger Dickerman. And again, he was a game changer for me when I was a listener to this show. He changed everything for me. So it was a huge thrill. And to get to see him, he was the first session that I saw. He was nothing but nice. He's going to be on the show in May. He, Dean Dwyer, super salt of the earth, super nice guy. I know I'm dropping a lot of names. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that because people like Jimmy Moore, who is a mentor to all these new voices in this space. And, it was inspiring. It was inspiring to get to be around these people just because of their energy and their strong desire to try to help America get healthier. The other thing was Jonathan Baylor. We got to talk to him at length about, the fact that we really do think the calorie myth is the Bible. We believe it. We believe the principles in there. But it was interesting to talk to him about how certain parts affected me and didn't, just about my personality, that didn't allow me to do it exactly like the science says that it should be done. So, but anyway, kudos to Jonathan Baylor for coming after all, for speaking. He made a big impact on a lot of people there, I know. But again, I told you I'd give you a recap. It was a fantastic weekend. Just to tell you real quickly, Lisa and I drove. You're going to see a little bit of video because I thought I was going to chronicle the whole thing. There was no way. There was too much learning, too much going on. But I did get a few snippets. So we drove to Austin from Houston. We showed up and they had a little meet and greet. And I was going to take you through all those pictures in this video. Oh, this video is at Fat2FitHQ.com/087 is the video and the podcast. But you could go to our YouTube channel at Fat2FitHQ.com/YouTube if you ever want to see any of these videos. But we I thought I was going to record a lot of that, and I wasn't able to. We got to Austin, and that evening there was this meet and greet. I'm not going to show you all those pictures because it's just like, look at me with all these people. Look how great. Look how much fun we're having. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Fat2FitHQ, and see a bunch of pictures of me and of Lisa hobnobbing. It was fantastic. But yeah, we met a bunch of people at the meet and greet, and then the next day, learning. My talk, I thought, was very well received. I bragged on this community. I talked to people about how we really need more followers for your bloggers and podcasters and people in the real food movement, in the paleo movement, and people with that kind of message. So my sales background and my education background, I talked to them about how impactful community is, and how you need to, from a sales perspective, get out of your space and go look for in other spaces, like maybe Firearms Radio Network, but also churches and schools and places out there where you're not just preaching to the choir. We do need you to preach to the choir in your listeners right now. And then the talk went on to how you empower people who are following you to be good ambassadors for a healthy lifestyle. And I use myself as an example in a lot of missteps that I make when I'm preachy or when I'm apologetic in social situations. Anyway, now I'm getting off on my talk, but the talk went great. And thank you to everybody who sent me, encouragement. I appreciate all the email and things. I also had, I was on a panel with some big names, Mark Sisson and Jonathan Baylor, and Sarah Fragoso and Sean Croxton. And I loved being on that panel because it was pretty much, the name of it was Don't Let the Perfect Get in the Way of the Good. And so you can imagine, I'm so not perfect, that I loved being on that panel. But we talked about, we fielded questions about how is trying to be so perfect in your diet and lifestyle working against you and getting in the way of just having a good life, a good, healthy life. So, yeah, great if they give us an opportunity to stream those again, to order the recordings of those sessions. I'll be ordering because I missed some, and it seemed to be a fantastic conference across the board. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take you now into just a little bit of audio and video from our weekend. And at the end, Lisa joins me again when we're back home a couple days ago to talk about what big takeaways were for the both of us. My biggest takeaway was to make sure that you have an open mind. And I would like to bring friends with me next year that might not be paleo. Because, we had so many different exposures to so many different things that didn't need to be so strict paleo to be a really good idea for moving you toward a healthier life. It was super inspiring. I would encourage you to go to any kind of conference like this that you're able to attend. And definitely with us next spring. We'll have a big meetup there. So let's go see what footage I got so you can come along the journey a little bit with us and then hear how we wrapped it up. Okay, thanks for all the encouragement. Thanks for being the best community ever. Okay, I am almost to Intercontinental Airport. I just pulled over to clean out my car because Lisa Jarman is getting in it and it's got a ton of junk in it. It's just been crazy, so I'm working on organizational skills. But anyway, I'm picking up Lisa and we are driving to Austin to Paleo FX. I cannot tell you how excited I am. And just to meet her, it's going to be so exciting. Okay, so I want you guys to come along. So I'm going to try to record snippets here and there because it's just going to be an amazing time. And next year, I want you to come with us or meet us there. This is going to be a great weekend. Okay, here we go. We're going to go get Lisa. Okay, we are here at Intercontinental Airport, and I am just in the passenger pickup area. And I know Lisa's flight, I know it landed about 20 minutes ago. And she already sent me a smiley face text, which I guess means she landed. I sent her a big welcome to Texas text. And she knows I'm going to be out here waiting for her. So we're just we're just illegally parked, waiting for her to come out of the airport. They're gonna tell me to move along in just a second. Any minute I get to meet my friend. Super excited. Some of the sweetest thing, this man was hiding roses behind his back. When this woman came out, it's not Lisa, but it's Precious. Okay, where's Lisa? Okay, now this big old Texas truck parked in my way, so I can't see when Lisa's coming out, but I'm sure hoping it is soon. Move the... Here she comes! Look, good, you're bumbling like me. How are you? Good! Oh my God!
How exciting is this?
I had to get some on video. Some of us together. Look, finally! Lisa, I'm recording again.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you so ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, how was your flight?
It was good.
It was good.
Turbulence, but it was good.
Okay. You look fantastic.
Thanks, so do you.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you for saying that, but I can't get any more excited.
Okay.
And next year we want it to be a meetup with a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
Okay. So now we're out for a while because we need to bond even more, if that's possible. Okay, bye. I told you, this might just be a beat down for you. But we finally got on the road. We're on our way to Austin. We're girl chatting, and I can't believe I found a person that geeks out on all this paleo, carb, podcasting stuff as much as I do. It was fantastic. Of course, we hit it off right away. And then we needed to get some food in us because it was getting late in the day. And I don't know if you know about Buc-ee's, but it's like a gas station on steroids. It's a just giant, it's very clean and very nice. It's one of those travel centers. So we stop at Buc-ee's, and that's... Okay, we're scrutinizing your food choices at Buc-ee's, Lisa. Look at though. Look, see, she's looking. Look how smart she is. We're looking. I just asked her about dairy, and Lisa says I'm gonna give TMI. She says her eczema flares up, right? Is that okay?
Heavy cream.
With heavy cream only, so she can have a little dairy. Look at this good choice over here. That's not bad. All kinds of big sausage here, and we kind of liked the idea of these turkey tenders. You know, we're trying to figure out on the road, how do you eat on the road? And if you've never been to a Buc-ee's when you come to Texas, you need to try a Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is awesome. This is where you buy your, this is where you buy your carbs. Look at this pecan pie kolache over here. That sounds pretty good. Pecan pie. But they do have, barbecue and stuff like that you could get without a bun. And all kinds of nuts and things. We just think we're gonna stick with the low carb stuff, at least for a little while. We're gonna decide if we're gonna have a carb night, right? We're undecided.
Come here for carb night.
Right on the way home. Okay. All right. Again, I did think I was going to have more video for you, and I've got nothing but a bunch of pictures on Facebook, but go check them out. They're fabulous. You can tell we're having a blast. Because after that Buc-ee's, we drove another hour or two. We got to Austin. There was a fantastic little meet and greet that night where we met all these wonderful people that we follow. And then, I do want to say hi to Jeff Fry from Health Nuts Anonymous, and thank you again for encouraging me to speak, because this was an amazing opportunity, and I will do it again and again if they'll have me back. And I did see Jeff there, and Jay Charvaz from Health Nuts Anonymous. A lot of fun. So after a couple of days of learning, and there was a speaker dinner, and that was amazing. And then we went out. Lisa and I did. There's another little clip here where we had a carb night, and we just talked about a few reflections before we left Austin. So that's what you'll see or hear now. I'm going to show it. A wonderful restaurant in Austin called Taqueria Guadalajara. We're about to have some awesome Mexican food. She's going to have a carb night.
An authentic Mexican restaurant.
What a way to have a carb night. Okay, Now, Dean Dwyer. Dean Dwyer. I mean, so nice. So nice. And again, he was the first person I ever interviewed on the show, so what a thrill. We could just bore you all day with all the people, but Dean, I'm just going to go through people who have made a huge difference for me, and I know a lot of these other people could, but these were just some highlights from today and yesterday, right? Okay, so no question. You know what? I already own these books, but I bought them again. That's how good Jimmy Moore's Cholesterol Clarity is. Because, you know, I wanted him to sign it.
Someone that's new to the scene, Nicole Avena, PhD, and she talks about sugar. She did a talk today talking about why diets fail.
Sugar.
And there's a lot of information in here about sugar and its effect on the body. Yeah.
So I didn't see this gal. You saw her.
Yeah, I saw her this morning early.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Now, we do want to show you our last big person that we were really impressed with, and we still are. Check out how many copies.
Right. I didn't get mine signed.
No, but we got mine signed.
Burrito?
Oh, thank you. Can I just show this really quickly? This is Lisa's dinner that just arrived. So thank you so much. We appreciate that. So we're going to cut this off, and we'll just continue to tell you more about Paleo Effects later. This may be the only video that we do. The rest will be audio, but everybody needs to come next year. One other thing, banana nut bread, paleo friendly. For real? Oh my God. And this company is called Simple Mills. I'm going to get them on the show. There were a ton of vendors, but this stuff tastes incredible. Okay, so thank you, and we're out. We'll see you again in a bit. Bye. Oh, and thank you, Lisa, for coming.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, so that's enough of the ride along with us and aren't we having a great time all together portion of the podcast this week. Now, Lisa and I are really going to talk about some takeaways she had and just reflect a little bit on the weekend. And I think, though, that I really do appreciate people who encouraged me, like Jeff Fry, to present in all of our community. Is that message I felt was really important to talk about how we're confused. We're still confused. Even the more you learn and peel back the layers of the onion, you get even more confused. But it's worth sticking with it and continuing to tweak what you're doing to find your best, healthiest, most enjoyable journey. And because it'll change even a little bit down the road. So I'm super proud of our community because what we work on is staying motivated and sticking together as we find it. And that message that I talked about how to get more followers, the underlying message, again, I talked about how confused we are, but how you can do things to make it less confusing. Just like I said about Roger Dickerman, he tells you to make it your hobby or to pick a filter. And that's such a great piece of advice, things like that. Because he is my filter. He's one of my favorite filters, he and Dr. Champ, the caveman doctor. I used people in our community as examples, like Jack Templin and Lisa, who came with me, that, we're learning from each other and helping each other be less confused. And there's a lot that people who have the message and the science to put out there can do to make it easier for us. And so Thanks for sticking with me and helping me get that message out there. We should all be really proud of ourselves. Okay, so let's just hear our wrap-up reflections, and then we'll have another podcast with Dr. Rocky Patel coming up in just less than a week. Okay, thanks. Bye. Oh, stay tuned. Okay. We're back from Paleo FX. And I have Lisa Jarman here with me. Say hello, Lisa.
Hello.
So,
hey, Carol.
Hi, Lisa. I miss you already.
It was a blast.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast. That's just not even strong enough word.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, so you're back in Middleton, Ohio, right?
Right.
I'm back in Houston, and we've been back. It's been a blur since we got back. 3 days?
Let's see. This is Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah, we got back late.
It's already been 4 days.
Oh my gosh, it's just been a blur. It feels like we were just there. we were there for a long time. We were there for 3 evenings, and we started out early on last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And
nonstop.
There was so many. There were so many things, and I already went through the pictures and kind of took people through the chronology of our visit. But I did want to talk to you again because we chatted the whole way back. We had a 3-hour ride from Austin to Houston with a quick restroom stop.
Right.
And we got you to your flight, and that was great. But
I left my Jonathan Baylor signed copy in your car.
After we stalked him in the parking garage together.
Right.
Hilarious that you ate dinner with the man and talked with him across the table, just the two of you guys, for like 30 minutes.
It was priceless.
I know. But you still had to stalk him in the parking garage.
Had to. Right.
Jonathan, one more thing.
Right.
Well, he was doing a book signing, but we were already going to be out of town.
Right.
So he would have signed it anywhere. We just happened to see him in the parking garage.
Right.
But tell me, what have you been thinking since you got back? What are your thoughts? Just any reflections that you have about going? Any ahas or oh my goodnesses or what?
Well, I'm always trying to find the common thread. No two people will subscribe to the same exact philosophy. So what are the common threads? Luckily, I met Terry Wahls.
Yes.
And of course, because I work in healthcare, I have the utmost respect for the research process and finding out not only her personal story, but that she's a researcher, she's a physician. I've downloaded every podcast I can find that she has recorded. I'm very interested in her story, but I'm mostly interested in what she discovered about nutrients and what their effects are on not just her health, but the health of other people suffering similar conditions or conditions. They're doing some work with fibromyalgia now, and I just think she's on to something huge. And I'm really intrigued by her story, and I'm going to follow her throughout this process.
I've known about her for a little while because I have a girlfriend who told me about her a long time ago that my girlfriend has multiple sclerosis, and Terry Wahls does also. And for the she has the Wahls Protocol. It's a book. I've seen her on Dr. Radio. I've seen her on a lot of mainstream shows. She uses paleo principles and functional medicine. Her book says how she overcame secondary progressive multiple sclerosis using those principles. And it's amazing. If you go to her site, it's very easy. It's terrywahls.com, and that's TerryWahls.com. We'll put that link in the show notes. But you see her in a wheelchair and debilitated, and then you saw her at the conference.
Amazing.
She's telling us how fast she's going on the treadmill now. She's walking around, no problems. Daryl Edwards, the fitness explorer guy, I saw a picture of her today. He was holding her up, holding her back up. He throws everybody over his shoulder.
Yeah.
She was just having fun and walking around. It's amazing.
It really is.
It's amazing.
And I think because hers is such an extreme story. I can talk about how much better I feel, how my asthma is better, my eczema doesn't flare up. But I didn't have multiple sclerosis. I wasn't in a wheelchair, and not even a standard wheelchair. She was in a tilt recline wheelchair.
Oh my.
And now she's up walking. She's doing all these things, and I'm so inspired by her, and very hopeful that the message will get out. She did a grand rounds some time ago at her institution, and sometimes those are available online. I would love to get a hold of that and watch it, because she said the reviews were mixed. Some people really embraced what she was doing and the progress she's made, and others kind of poo-pooed it and said that, well, you were probably misdiagnosed, you're sending the wrong message. And it just kind of, it shows how stuck some people are in their paradigms. And
I think I might have misspoken too. I said for 4 years now. Actually, she was, I believe, I have to look at her site again. I believe the 4 years part is she was actually for 4 years. Yeah, here it is. She, for 4 years, was confined to a tilt recline wheelchair. It wasn't like just briefly she was in a
Right.
wheelchair, and
Right.
then, I mean, she's just turned her health around. And so,
Right.
yeah, I've heard her on other shows. It's very inspiring, definitely on other podcasts, but she she has a protocol, like I said, that my friend is following that it's seems to be helping, I mean, but
Yeah.
it's crazy that we think this is something odd. Oh yeah, she commutes by bicycle. She doesn't need even her cane anymore. None of this. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
So
Right.
impressive. And then
Yeah.
people are surprised when the food, your body's going to do something with it. It's either, what do they say? It's either I'm going to mess up that saying, but it's basically either nutrients or poison, what you're putting in you.
Right.
So,
It's either going to help you or hurt you. There's no
Right.
neutral. I don't believe.
yeah. Unless you're having a carb night.
That's right.
We're mixing up all our stuff. We did
Yeah.
have fun, though. We had
We
a lot
did.
of fun. And we were super inspired by people like Terry Wahls. What the great thing about a conference like this is I was exposed to, I thought I listened to a lot of people and had my pulse on everybody that I could possibly get knowledge from right now without being overwhelmed.
Right.
I have my favorite filters. But you go to something like this, and I have a lot of diabetes in my family, and I just heard a lot of physicians and nutritionists talking about pre-diabetes and things that it was inspiring to hear some of the talks. I'm trying to remember that guy's name. I'll find it real quick. That talked about your insulin resistance if you are pre-diabetic. He wrote the book, The Blood Code.
Oh, I missed that. I was
You
in
were in,
another
we
session.
split up. Sometimes there were so many good sessions that you
There
and
really
I
were.
would split up and then, come back together later. His name is Dr. Maurer, Maurer. I believe it's Rick, but he wrote the book, The Blood Code. And I loved his talks. I heard him on Richard Maurer. And I heard him on a panel, and then I heard him, oh my goodness, I'm looking at his website, and he retweeted something that somebody tweeted with my name in it. Because I think he retweeted something I tweeted, because I'm sending out his stuff now, because it was so interesting. He talked about this book. I want to get this book, The Blood Code, because he talks about what if you're pre-diabetes, what if you're insulin sensitivity, not pre-diabetes, what if you're diabetes, what if you're insulin sensitive, and what if that's a gift? What if we look at it as an ancestral gift instead of a curse? Instead of disease, maybe it's our environment that is broken and not us. Because if I wake up with a ton, my fasting blood sugar is a lot higher than yours. I could go to the gym immediately. I don't have to carb up. I don't have to, I could be like, kill it. I just have to know how to work off some of that extra, get my blood. You have to know, first of all, I really want to read his book because I'm sure I'm butchering all of this. But he talked about how you need to know whether you're highly sensitive, moderately or low. And then there's things you can do with food and exercise to adapt yourself to that before you go, oh my gosh, I have this. And, what can I do? There's some things that you could do. So anyway, it's very interesting. His book takes you through a $25 panel you can order on your own to get all of the information that you need to get started in trying to figure it out. I think he's the one that on another panel, when they were asking how to navigate your non-paleo doctor, and somebody asked him what how you would, Jimmy Moore was moderating that panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Richard Marr was the one that said that you need to ask your doctor what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and ask them what they do for exercise. And I was like, oh, wow. I don't think we do that.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Shouldn't we, though?
If you're going to try and follow a doctor who subscribes to the same belief system, but that's hard to find.
That was what the whole panel was about, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was an excellent discussion.
It was because they weren't bashing doctors at all. They were all doctors. They're saying, take things that you can take with you, when you're, when you go and interview a doctor, and just great tips on how, to consider if you've chosen correctly, or if this is going to be the right doctor for you. So
yeah, it was a very unique discussion.
Yeah,
Helpful.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what else? What were other highlights for you, Dr. Wahls?
I meeting Jimmy Moore, of course, because I just think Jimmy's so inspiring.
He is.
And it was awesome to meet him, and it was kind of surreal to walk past Mark Sisson or have dinner down the table from Abel James. I mean, it was surreal. Ben Greenfield. I mean, the people who you read everything they write, you listen to every podcast, and all of a sudden there they are, and you can ask them a question. I felt I didn't want to intrude on anyone. I didn't want to ask them things that they've already written in their book.
I know.
But
we were such groupies.
I know. But to have dinner across from Jonathan Baylor, and he was so gracious and so just to converse with him. And
what about Dean Dwyer?
Oh yeah.
And I've already, I know. And I gushed at the beginning of this podcast about Roger Dickerman. And you and I did too in your carb night, because I think I was I guess I was surprised at how gracious people were.
So warm and genuine, and no one seemed to be bothered by the fact that we were starstruck.
I know, goofy girls. Next year, Dean finally told me, quit acting like, oh my God. I said, just be cool. I was like, I can't. No, They're too.
It was surreal.
But we need to, because we need to represent better than that next year. like we belong. But it was because you respect the people so much. That's what Absolutely. It is. I mean, and you like you said, you follow them. And so I would recommend to anyone who can make it to Austin. And then I think there's one in Denver in October, but we're going to find out. But if you are able to, I don't care what you have to do. It's worth it. Lisa and I took a couple of days off work. Spent hundreds of dollars to, to fly, to drive, hotel, and the conference. Worth every penny.
Absolutely. I have no regrets.
Yeah, because it wasn't just about a lot of fun, although we had a ton of fun. There was so much learning. It was so inspiring. So many new things I wanted to look into. What?
Right.
What were you
I was going to say, I do regret that we didn't film our 5 a.m. romp through the neighborhood.
Yes.
When we were doing our workout.
We gave that North Austin neighborhood something to think about. Did we not?
Right. It seems so normal at the time.
Now I look back. Well, here's the thing. We stayed at somebody's home through Airbnb. If you guys don't know about that, if you don't know about Airbnb, it's just, look it up. It's Airbnb. And it's such a great alternative to getting a hotel. And a lot of people going to Paleo Effects were doing that. You could get a house and share it. Or I happen to know somebody that has a room that they rent in North Austin, and they had another room for Lisa. But I don't know them well. I've just stayed there before. So they were wonderful, but we didn't see them the whole time.
No.
We just had a key to their home and going in and out. And then at 5 a.m., because Lisa had a carb night, she felt that we needed to work off some of her glycogen stores.
Right.
So we did sprints and a workout in these people's front yard in the dark at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
We geeked out the whole weekend.
we did.
I couldn't
We did.
believe I was spending so much time with this gal that knew so much about this stuff. Like, nobody in my real world would talk about this stuff to this extent.
Right. And I get blank stares when I come back. People ask me, "How was your trip?" And I say, "Oh, I sat across the table and had dinner with Jonathan Baylor, and he's New York Times bestselling author." And I just get blank stares, like, "Oh, no one appreciates it."
I know. You know what the mommies told me? We had a breakfast right when we got back. Um, somebody came up to me and said, "Carol, I saw so many pictures of you on Facebook with all these men." Were there no women at this conference?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if there were.
I'm not sure. Right. Well, there was Andrea.
There was Andrea, who was awesome, and I just texted with her.
Yes, she was.
And Sarah Fregoso was nothing but nice. It was so funny. When we got up on stage, we did a panel with Sarah Fregoso from Everyday Paleo and Sean Croxton, and he's from Underground Wellness. And we know Jonathan Baylor and Mark Sisson.
The Mark Sisson.
Mark Sisson. Okay. That's what I was. Okay. I can't even. So anyway, look him up, people, if you don't know. From Mark's
Right.
Daily Apple. I mean, he's one of the most well-known. He does the Primal Blueprint, and again, Mark's Daily Apple is just a wealth of information. Go check it out for sure. And so anyway, we were on a panel together, and the boots that I decided to wear to this event. Okay, so I'm thinking we're in Texas and we need to be gracious to all these people from outside of Texas. I'm thinking like rodeo, we do that in Houston where you just get your best rodeo clothes on. You turn it up a notch and it's not just bling, it's
That was up a notch.
I have these boots that I have never worn and I bought in a silent auction that someone must have made by hand or had made, because there is not a spot on the boots that does not have a rhinestone or glitter or some kind of bling on it. You need sunglasses if you were in the front row for my boots. And then I realized halfway through the day that everybody there is so ancestral. I mean, people are practically barefoot. There were a few people that were barefoot that had just those plastic pads. Yeah. I mean, well, a lot of people had those 5-finger shoes that they were wearing just as their shoes. But I saw some people that just had these, like, almost looked like just a piece of plastic that would wrap around their foot so they wouldn't get cut, but they were trying to be barefoot. And, everybody's real earthy, and I'm there with my big Texas hair and sparkly jewelry and sparkly boots. I had a blast. Because you know what?
People will remember those boots.
They did. How many people came up to me and asked me about the boots?
All kinds of people. Are you the lady that had the boots on?
I saw your talk. You were the one with the boots, right?
Right.
And you know what I loved was, even though that was so contradictory to what a lot of those people believe, getting back to your roots. And even though the whole Firearms Network thing was, a lot of people from the paleo community are a little shocked about the whole firearms thing. We did not get, you would have people taken aback a little bit, but we were nothing but welcomed by everyone.
Right.
Nothing but open-minded people, and that's really inspiring to me, because it's not like I can imagine a big percentage of that community just isn't into guns, or maybe thinks that it's a scary thing, but it's not like they're only interested in the health of the people they agree with politically about gun issues. Right.
Right.
And most people are just interested in people getting healthy. We can all agree on that.
Yeah. We met some of the neatest people with the coolest stories. The fellow that has the ranch somewhere. I don't know what part of Texas, but where he takes the men that's back from the military.
The veterans.
And trains them. Yes.
He trains them on sustainable farming. I know.
For free.
Yes.
No cost.
Yes. And he's thinking about getting some kind of certification label for when you buy your groceries. You can see if it came from a farm where a veteran was given farming skills. Because he's training people, because if they come back and they don't have a job, they can get this skill. And he doesn't charge anything for that. And that's just phenomenal. It's
cricket bars.
What's that?
The cricket bars.
Oh, yeah. Caroline reminded me that we had eaten cricket flour before. Her trainer at F3 actually brought in one of those bars one time. So that was funny that we got to meet the owners of...
Right.
Yeah, I don't have all my product here. I'm going to run and get some of it. Hang on just a second. So I found the card for the cricket flour guy because I just think that's so cool. They're protein bars made with cricket flour. And his name, he was a co-founder. We've met both these guys, but this is Gabby Lewis's card of EXO.
Gabby from Scotland.
Yes, from Scotland. And Scotland. It's not, I don't know how to speak that way, but I can't even fake it. It's cool because Jonathan was telling us how much he was sitting next to Jonathan at dinner, and Jonathan was telling us about the nutrient value of the crickets per ounce or gram or whatever. It was just amazing. And so then they make this flour, and the bars were great, but I guess they were gluten-free, or I don't know. You can look them up. I'll put the link to that as well. It was very cool. And how did they taste? What did you think?
They were yummy.
They were yummy.
They were.
They had a lot of different flavors. They had cacao nut, peanut butter and jelly, and cashew ginger.
The peanut butter and jelly is the one that I brought home. I brought home one. And my son and my husband tried it, and both of them liked it.
Yeah. See?
My son was a little grossed out, but he really liked
it.
That's
the thing, is that you just kind of have to get people past the ick factor of that there's crickets in there.
If they knew what was in some of their commercially prepared food,
absolutely,
crickets would be nothing.
Nothing. Like the peanut butter and jelly one it's gluten-free, no soy, and no dairy. That's why people there liked it, because it had 10 grams of protein and none of that other stuff. And then they tasted good. And so they're made with like peanuts, strawberries, apricot, cricket flour, gluten-free oats, some flax seeds, and puffed brown rice, and honey and vanilla extract and sea salt. So made with a lot of natural ingredients. If you're not worrying about carbs, you're worrying about the quality of the ingredients, and not having a lot of ingredients, not having a bunch of stuff you can't pronounce. And again, there's a ton of protein because the cricket flour has a lot of protein from the crickets. So we'll put a link to that because they really are. My favorite was that, I don't think the peanut butter and jelly was my favorite. The cashew ginger, I think, or that chocolate nut one. Anyway, the only other thing I want to kind of plug, there was a lot of things. There was lots of product there that was really good. But I loved this Simple Mills gal. When I did my, and this is, I'm showing a banana muffin mix. It's a gluten-free almond flour mix that's all ready to go. Non-GMO, low GI, no dairy, grain-free, everything all weekend. They would say this is non-GMO, you couldn't eat anything without people explaining everything it didn't have in it. But I really liked this gal because when I was on the panel, one of the questions was, what do you miss? And I did say I miss banana nut bread. And she came up to me afterwards with some samples. How sweet is that? Yeah. I think her name was Jenna. I have her card. But I told her for sure I went the next day and bought them from her because I told her it was so yummy. And it's not like it's carb-free. That's the thing. These things have a lot of carbohydrates, but not as much as the stuff that you buy in the store right off the shelf, and they're made with better ingredients, and they're made with things like almond flour. That's a problem, a slippery slope, because you can eat too many things. Those are those sane treats. They should be as treats. But if you're going to have a treat, something like this is way better, I think, than...
My son made a batch and loaded it up with walnuts.
Oh,
and
yum.
They were delicious.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is that you can make stuff that's just as tasty, but it doesn't mean you need a steady diet of things made with almond flour or coconut flour.
Right.
I think you're missing the point, and you would, if you're worried about weight loss and stuff, that's going to work against me if I have too many of those. But certainly this is a good idea. So what about carb night?
Carb night was a blast.
Authentic Mexican carb night.
Having authentic Mexican. But my problem is that when I came home, I brought home so many Paleo FX treats.
Yeah.
That I continue. So I haven't gotten back into ketosis yet.
I know.
So I came home from work tonight, and my son had made some kind of treats, and I thought, well, I'm going to try one. I was on the phone. I had one. It was delicious, and I looked at him and said, "Oh, these are so good. What is this?" And he's like, "I didn't make those. The other son, who is not paleo, had made it, and it was not anything healthy. So I don't know what I ate tonight."
Oh my gosh. You know what? That reminds me. I had a very healthy treat. Cynthia Crom, and we talked about this on another show. Her son was and Cynthia Crom is a listener, and she's doing Tough Mudder with us, and that's just going to be a blast. And in June, but her son, when he was in college, I hope I have this right, he had a project that they worked on where he came up with these things called chomps. They're chocolate treats, but they're made with it's all good stuff because they're made with dates and things like that. There's nothing you would be scared of. And they sent me some samples, and they were good. It was not, I was surprised. But the cool thing is that it started as a research project, but then they got some funding for it. And so now it's a real thing. Here they're called Bire, Bire. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong because it has an accent. And the website is agoodthingtocrave.com. And that makes sense. It's a good thing to crave, as opposed to the stuff you ate tonight, which is
right. I don't know what it was. It was not paleo. It was probably GMO.
If you go to this website, agoodthingtocrave.com, you'll see a hand there that's holding one of these chomp treats, and they have more than one kind. They're yummy, and they have different kinds. They have chocolate chomps, coconut apricot chomps, and chunky peanut chomps. So anyway, those are something you might want to try and check out. We'll put a link because it's very cool that it started as something that some young people decided they wanted to make something with more natural ingredients, and it's kind of taken off. So we definitely want to support that and make sure that you guys get that website. And it's probably good for our carb nights. So anyway, we're going to wrap up because this show's going to get too long, but I wanted to just put a charge out to people that next spring, for sure, when it's in Austin again, I think I'm going for sure. I think I'm committing right now. What about you, Lisa?
I think so. It was worth every penny.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was. I mean, we were outside. I showed pictures of that too. We got some great exercise in that was just made us laugh and was fun. We met some, I mean, it sounds so cliche, some of the greatest minds in ancestral health, but these people they've made it their life work. And so it's real interesting, and you can get to hear them debate over things, the subtleties, and then back up. Like Jonathan said, hey, we're just trying to redefine healthy. We don't, all this is is details about, what we consider healthy, but really we're just trying to redefine healthy. And then, you can listen to Kiefer and decide if you want to do a carb night to be more effective for fat loss and stuff. But everybody there seemed to have a common understanding of like real food and then, just trying to get away from some of the things, the sugar, the grains, and the processed food that's causing issues. So
I don't think I've ever been in a place with that many fit individuals.
But not everybody was like super fit, but what was great.
Right.
What was great was people were like, but I've lost 50 pounds. So, or I've lost 20 pounds, or this is making me feel great. Everybody was somewhere in their journey in a positive place from where they had been. So, but you saw a ton of like super fit people like all in one place.
I really enjoyed our final breakfast there at the Austin Health Retreat.
Oh, the Austin Health Retreat.
Yeah, I really think that what they've got in mind is going to be a great thing for that area.
It was very cool. They're not off the ground yet, but they do have a website, and I'll publish that in the show notes. And it's called Austin Health Retreats. It was very close to downtown, and they have physicians on staff. There's like 14 rooms. They have a chef there, and the goal would be that eventually people who had an ailment or an illness, and in addition to that, or once they've done all they could through their physician, they want physicians to refer people there to have the entire experience. They want to work with physicians, not against physicians. And they have physicians. We met the doctors, Alex and the chef, Damon and Margaret. They have live chickens in the back, so they have lots of fresh stuff. It's beautiful, tranquil surroundings. And I can get off sugar and grains if Damon's going to cook for me 3 meals a day.
That was amazing. Yeah, I've never had elk before. That was bone broth with elk and poached egg. It was a great breakfast.
It was amazing. It was fabulous. And who did we have breakfast with? Nora? I don't know.
Nora Gaddis, my husband will just die because I don't pronounce her name correctly, and he's her number one fan. Ged Gaddis. She's one of the the grades.
Yeah,
Ged Gaddis. So I'm sorry, Nora, if you're listening.
We don't mean to butcher your name because she and her friend Lisa were so lovely at breakfast, and it's just a fun time.
I tried not to act too starstruck, just played it cool.
I know. And people kept walking out of the rooms. Daryl Edwards stayed there too, and I think Ben Greenfield stayed there a couple of nights. Maybe just because he got stuck in Austin. I don't know, but I kept seeing people posting that Austin Health Retreats. This is a great place where I'm staying, and it was a great place. So we wish them a lot of luck in their endeavors. I think that's an important thing, to offer people a total solution for getting yourself healthy as soon as possible.
Yeah. And I had one question for Ben Greenfield and didn't ask it.
Ooh.
Ben Greenfield.
Yeah, no, I said ooh.
Oh, okay. He talks all about the 23andMe, and I can't seem to get the test. And I just want to know what he knows, if they're on or off.
Okay.
As far as if they're doing the test now, if they're offering that just to the consumer.
Wow. Because I did hear like Roger and his girlfriend did it, Roger Diggerman, but it was like right before they cut it off and stopped.
Yeah.
And just to explain what that is, you can send a blood sample and get all kinds of information, right? About your DNA, about your ancestry, about what you might be predisposed to. Roger and Colin did a whole show that was fascinating on, are you the type of person that should have this information?
Right. That's an excellent point.
Because you might just drive yourself crazy. All right. We do have to wrap up. This show's going to be like 2 hours with all the other video and stuff that we put into it. So I just wanted to tell you thank you again, Lisa, for coming with me. And we're on
Thanks
for next.
For the invite.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't have had more fun, and that in a big way was due to you. And so we're on for next year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we're on for Tough Mudder in
Yes.
June. I'm going to wrap up the show real quick talking about that. You know, we have the Tough Mudder coming up on June 7th. We have several people signed up. Most of our team has never done it before, and people are just getting up to it, you know, walk run of 12 miles. I think if you get up to 10 miles, you're good to do it that day. And remember, there is an obstacle every mile or so. We are going to stop. You do not have to do every obstacle. Do the ones you're comfortable with. It may be just that your first time you're just going to see what this is about, and you plan to walk around every obstacle. We won't tell anybody. And you don't tell anybody when I walked around. But no, it's just a great day. That day is just a great day of teamwork and what you can do as a team. And it's a lot of fun. Same kind of fun we had this weekend when we were playing with Daryl at the play out. So definitely, we're the gun runners, and you can get information by emailing me at carol@fat2fithq.com. Then also, you can connect with us in several ways. We have our MyFitnessPal group. We have links in the show notes for that. Our Fat2FitBitter group is going gangbusters. We're doing our April challenge. We are halfway through the April challenge, and Stephen Rock Martial Arts. There's a new guy who's blowing everybody away. I mean, he's miles ahead, literally, in steps of everybody. And that's okay. We're excited. We're just putting him in a different category. We're not trying to compete with him at all. And, but it's just a lot of fun because, you know, like we always say, there's a lot of jaw jacking going on over there. And it's just a lot of fun. So if you have a Fitbit, definitely make sure that you join our Fat2FitBitter group. And that information is also in the show notes. I want to see I'm looking right now at the standings for April as of April. Oh my gosh, look at this. Stephen Rock Solid Martial Arts has 461,000 steps already.
Oh my gosh.
Now the next person down is Mickey with 303,000 steps. And then you've got Stacy Knickerbocker under that with 278,000. Now, Dion looks kind of low at 203,000, but he said he's going to do this thing where he doesn't upload his steps until Sunday. Like, bam, there I am. I was like, okay, you're crazy. But he says he doesn't want to go crazy looking at the leaderboard of everybody, but that's half the fun, is to see where you are. I am way down at number 17. Shameful. That's the other thing. I left my Fitbit at home when we went to Austin.
You found it?
Yes.
You found it. Good.
Yes. But that's probably just as well, because those people they don't want to hear about counting steps or counting calories.
True.
I was like, lady, you're 23, okay? The one that was arguing it with me. But I do like that perspective. If it's working for somebody not to count at all, I would love you to share with us because, you know, it might work for somebody else. But that was fine. And what else? What else do we have to show? So make sure that you connect with us. Please leave us a review in iTunes. That helps the show so much. If you could leave us a review, there's links on how to do that. Lisa, miss you already.
Me too.
All right.
It was great.
All right, good. So we will see you we'll be talking soon, but we'll see you for sure in Tennessee in just a couple months.
I know.
All right. Thanks for recording with me. Thanks for Paleo FX, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed that video. You can find us at fat2fithq.com. And also come over and find us on Facebook. Like our page. There's lots of good stuff going on over there. So thanks again for watching and have a great day.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.